welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage, and this is at the request of Patreon subscriber Heinz, who gave me a dealer's choice to prepare for Eternal Weekend, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm recording this on October 7th, 2025. Eternal Weekend starts on October 9th, 2025, which means it's crunch time. Yesterday, in real life, not necessarily on the channel, yesterday in real life, I did a final run-through with my Legacy deck. That league went quite well. I'm very happy with that choice. Now I'm going to do a final run through with what I'm planning to be my Vintage deck. This is Lurrus, Jeskai, Paradoxical outcome combo. I've played this deck a bunch of times on the channel before. I'm not going to do like the whole deck tech here, but basically we just play almost as much fast mana as we're allowed to. All the Moxen, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault. The idea is to cast something like Paradoxical Outcome or Stock Up, or even play and kick Thundertrap Trainer to turn these mana into cards. Those cards turn into more mana. You pick them up, you put them down, then you win. The thing I'm trying to sniff out in this league is Mystic Remora. This is the flex slot in the deck. Some folks right now are playing Underworld Breach in this slot. Instead of winning with 4th Era Lingus, there's 2 Breaches and a Lingus in these 2 Remora and Lingus spots. That gives the deck a more condensed kill and on a different axis. However, Brain Freeze is a much worse card than 4th Era Lingus when you're not comboing off. There's also some middle of the road, like this is the control build, Breach is the combo build. And there's some middle of the road stuff, like you could just play a Dress Down and a Chain of Vapor in these spots. And those are just a little bit of interaction. I kind of have this in my head classified as control, neutral, and combo on this sliding scale. I know Justin Gennari, I've been talking to him, he's planning on playing the kind of middle of the road build. I know a bunch of people from like the DMV area are pretty excited about the Breach build. I would rather slow down and have more cards and make more decisions against most opponents on average. I played this deck once before on the channel. I trophied that league. Mr. Remora felt insane. That might have just been finding it at the right times, might have just been good pairings throughout that league. This is what I'm really looking at this league. I got 2 days before Eternal Weekend here in real life. I'm going to figure out if I want 0, 1, or 2 Mr. Remoras based on how this league goes with this card. And there it is. Sweaty time. Let's play some Vintage. I'm on the draw in round 1. My opponent has not revealed a Lurrus. I'm going to keep. I have Force of Will to survive the early turns. I have Stock Up and Time Walk. Like with Time Walk, this is kind of a turn 1 Stock Up. Opponent is a fan of the channel. Everyone say hi to Valentina. Okay, a Chrome Mox. This is probably White Initiative. Generally, if you have Force of Will and they haven't made their land drop yet, you want to fight over their mana sources, because if their land is Cavern of Souls, it's too late. I don't want to fight over Chrome Mox. If they follow up with something else, like another Mox, I'll probably fire in. Okay, straight into the land, which means Force of Will is going to work. Just checking that they have not revealed a Chancellor of the Annex. Okay, Force Pitching Lorien revealed is my play here. And I'm going to go for the, air quotes, turn 1 Stock Up. If I draw a Mox, I just get it. Okay, now I could turn 1 Thundertrap. That is not as powerful. I'm going to be cold to Wasteland anyway, and there's only 1 basic, so I am just going to fetch my colors and make sure I can play the game. Force of Negation, kind of a stinker. Stock Up, let's get it moving. Mana Crypt Mox Emerald. Mana Crypt is kind of exciting. Force of Will keeps the next round off my back. I think I need Force of Will. Mana Crypt makes it 6 mana. If I draw a land, I can kick Thundertrap Trainer next turn. Or it makes it 5 mana. Yeah, I think I want the Crypt. That's the fastest route to Lurrus. Yeah, that's just the most mana, which is what we're talking about here. Okay. And I'm going to pass the turn. I'm not going to play the Crypt, because I don't want to start taking damage for no reason. That could punish me if they play something like Void Mirror, or I think I just want to force this. Yeah, I'm just kind of forcing anything. Yeah, Mana Crypt would be punished by Void Mirror or any sort of taxation effect, Archon of Emeria, but I was likely to counter anything like that anyway. All right, either land they wasted would have got them where they wanted to be there, but this fourth Aerolingus is now a plan I can think about. Flame of Enor, I can't cast that. I'm going to get Soul Ring and buy Lurrus. I am out of interaction here. I just got to hope they're kind of out of threats. Okay. That one gets the game over, but it doesn't lock me out. So I could still play all my cards. This is a big turn to find access to red. There's a Plains, 2 cards in hand. All right, come on, deck. Fetch land. Lost my Crypt Flip, and Flusterstorm, one of the worst cards in the matchup. Yeah, having 3 cards that I can't play in my hand is definitely a beat. All I can do is pass here. Yep, that sucks. And like I said, I couldn't play around the Wasteland. I would just have an island in play instead of a Tundra if I had fetched my basic. Blocking here is actually good. It makes Paradoxical Outcome worse, but it makes Lurrus better, because now I have something worth casting in my graveyard. And they can untap a creature in their upkeep, or in my upkeep, so it's not like I was going to attack there. Come on, deck. We're looking for that appropriately colored mana. Soul Guide Lantern. That's a redraw. I'll play Soul Guide Lantern and immediately draw a card. Exile Clarion Conqueror, I guess. I don't think it matters. Draw a card. Paradoxical Outcome. We're in business, kind of. Gotta send it. Okay, Snapcaster Mage. I did find lands, but I have blue and colorless mana over here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could stock up here. Yeah, I guess I just have to stock up. And there's only 2 Volcanic Islands in the deck, and one's already wasted. I think I want to fetch a redundant Tundra here. A Tundra, Mox, Crypt. Oh wait, Snap Time Walk is so much better. That gets me into 4th Aerolingus. Okay. Yeah, Snap Time Walk plays Lurrus, which can Thunder Trap Trainer, or I can Lingus their face off. Alright, yeah. Time Walk's the one. Time Walk. Do they have a main deck Mindbreak Trap that can get me here? Doesn't look like it. Alright. Crank it back. Push it back my way. Also, not fetching the basic earlier means that when I take the initiative this turn, I actually get a land. Vexing Bauble. Probably not what I'm after. A fetch. They have a 5/5. I do have to respect that. Just going to cast a Fudge Enormous 4th Aerolingus here. This is for 6 horses. This is an exactly lethal attack, but they do have the blocker, so it's not actually lethal, is what I mean by that. I'm going to attack with enough to make it a 2-turn clock, and enough to block even through a removal spell. Okay, I get the Monarch and the Initiative. Give me all those emblems. Get to tutor that basic land that I've held on to in my deck this whole time around. And pass the turn, hope I don't die somehow. A Seasoned Dungeoneer off the top has 2 shots to kill me. I really hope they don't have that card. Mox Pearl. I feel like they would have cast that earlier if they had it. Vexing Bauble. That's interesting. That's 2 cards that I would both expect to have been... Oh no, they were sandbagging the pro because it didn't matter. They just drew Bauble. Ooh, alright, a tight one. Following the handy-dandy sideboard map that is available in my Patreon for this deck, I got a lot of sideboard for this. Consigned to Memory stops the initiative. Portable Hole and Swords to Plowshares can deal with various creatures or lock pieces. Force of Negation replaces Vexing Bauble on the draw. If I'm on the play, I'll have Vexing Bauble in instead. And these various things that care about non-creature spells or cheap spells just gotta go. Mindbreak Trap's also defensible on the draw. Is there a card in my deck still that is worse than Mindbreak Trap? I might have to reconsider my map if I find something here. A Portable Hole can collapse their mana, and it deals with the card Void Mirror or Null Rod if they have any of those things. Void Mirror is more likely these days. Is Mindbreak Trap just better than Force of Negation? I guess is a fair question. Because the point of Force of Negation is to counter a Mox, a mana development on the way in. I think I want both. Where do I find a card? This is tough. Okay, I've decided I'm going to experiment with Mindbreak Trap instead of Force of Negation here. The alternative is one of the Portable Holes goes out. I guess I could force some negation Void Mirror, same as I could Portable Hole it. All right, I'll try both of the counter spells for now. Because Portable Hole doesn't answer any of their threats, it just answers their lock pieces and can collapse their mana. Lurrus revealed. Pretty mediocre hand, but it does have Force plus Hole. This Paradoxical Outcome will be my first pitch to Force, because it's just going nowhere right now. Mox Pearl. Mana Crypt. Always, always, always force Mana Crypt out of this deck. No, thank you. Anything worth 2 mana, a Mana Crypt, a Soul Ring, I'm out. I'm taking it. Okay, well, they might have got me here. Archon of Emeria is going to get in. I luckily have the Tundra, which can at least get mana going a turn earlier than other things. All right, I don't have a Tundra anymore. Yeah, that's just that shell game of Cavern of Souls. Like, I would prefer that they have Mana Crypt to Archon of Emeria, now knowing that that's all they had. Null Rod. Okay, that turns off their own Mox Pearl, which is what I was going to do with that Tundra. Okay, another force actually pretty nice here. They've cut off their own mana. I do have 1 basic land I can fetch, so I can have Thunder Trap Trainer next turn. Caracas is now mana. Alright, Misty Rainforest, and might as well put Black Lotus into play. Portable Hole takes out the Null Rod, and then maybe stuff happens. I don't know. I have 4 Swords to Plowshares in the deck, plus Flames of Anor. That won't kick on for a while, but I do have them. And another card that is stuck under their own Null Rod. It's strange to even play that. I guess with Archon, you're not playing it any other time. A Tundra comes in tapped. I do have Basic Island I can fetch untapped here if I want to cast a spell. And I do. Basic Island, Thunder Trap Trainer. This is a lot of looks at Swords to Plowshares, which I play a lot of copies of. Ancestral Recall. Yeah, I like that one. Alright, yeah, I'll bank the Ancestral. I still have Force of Will up. I'm on a 6-turn clock. It'll be 5 turns if I have to force something. Another Ancient Tomb. Now they have 5 mana. Witch Enchanter. This blows up Black Lotus that doesn't work anyway. It does double their clock. I think they can have my Black Lotus here. Force of Will is too precious. There are things that actually just cook my life that I don't really want to be happening. I'm going to Ancestral now so I can hit land drops. Found the Swords to Plowshares. That unlocks my spells. Right, yeah, I'm just going to plow now. I don't want to take any extra damage from this thing that I don't have to. I can play a second Thunder Trap next turn and then be able to double block Witch Enchanter. No reason to chump now when I can fully stabilize. And the Thunders keep trapping here. Another one of these. Spells are online now. Consign to Memory versus 4th Aerolingus. I don't want the Portable Hole. I think I want... What does Consign do? If they find Cavern of Souls and a real creature, that's kind of a double whammy. Portable Hole, exiling Null Rod's actually more helpful to them than it is to me. 4th Aerolingus can turn around and win the game at some point. I think I talked myself into Lingus with this handful of Force of Wills already. On a stable battlefield. Clarion Conqueror. I'm going to Force of Will, pitching Force of Negation here. They don't really have attacks. Attacking kills their only creature while making my Lurrus better. Flame of Anor. Oh my goodness. I've never met a wizard I didn't like. Volcanic Island. Am I worried about Null Rod here? I guess is the question. I could kill Witch Enchanter and Null Rod. I could kill Witch Enchanter and draw 2. Leave Null Rod locking them down. I can remove Null Rod whenever I want. Okay. I'm going to deal 5, draw 2. I draw 2, Enchanter takes 5. Mox Ruby, might as well put it in. They don't have haste creatures I'm aware of. And they're at 10 from their own Ancient Tombs. I just did my first damage of the game and they're halfway gone. This is why I like this deck so much. My opponent had a really great start, but you just hit land drops and draw cards and do stuff and, you know, whatever. I have Snap Ancestral here. I'm just going to attack. This deck's fair plan, even when it's being squeezed out by Null Rods and whatever else they got, Archons of Emeria, is still just really good. Another Archon. I can't Snap Plow it. I have to force it. I can Snap Ancestral and then force. Yeah, that's the way to go. Snapcaster. This just gives me more options of blue cards to pitch. Target Ancestral. Zap myself with that. And force pitching Stock Up. I think I have enough cards. Something nobody ever thought I'd say out loud. I am out of forces now, but I can sink into Stupor to set them back. They can't tap Ancient Tomb anymore this game. Oh, that's a nice one. Worse than it could be, but always happy to see it. Okay, Tolarian Academy. Oh, they're just dead. I had this Lingus the whole time. Just needed one more mana here, or one more damage here, and I have 2 more damage. Yeah, they said their hand is 3 chance with the annexes. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the downside of playing decks like that one. You have to keep hands that have a strong start, and then you have no control over what happens after that point. And White Initiative is the most played deck in Vintage at the time of this recording. If you combine Dimir and Esper Lurrus, it's slightly more than White Initiative, but White Initiative is the most played standalone deck, and it's because it's air quote really good against the combo decks. But this combo deck has so many tools to fight it, which is why I'm so into it. Cool. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2 versus a non-Lurrus strategy. I think I have to mulligan this. It just doesn't do anything. If I knew I was against Doomsday, where Flusterstorm's actually really good, I could be convinced, but I don't know that. And this deck is full of busted cards and fast mana. This is awkward. I like Mystic Remora. Even if they are White Initiative, they're going to have to feed me at 1 or 2 cards to start the game going. This Paradoxical outcome's pretty far away from useful. If they're Dredge, this is all just bad. I am going to keep, though. Remora is the card I'm here to stress test. I could dump a land, hoping to find Moxen for PO. I could keep the land and bottom PO, hoping to just get to stock up and then turn the corner. PO is a way that stock up turns the corner. Mental Misstep is bad against most non-Lurrus decks. But if they fight over Mystic Remora, like if they misstep my Remora, that's a fight I might need to win. I'm going to bottom a land here. Yeah, if this is any Bizarre deck, I'm just in a bunch of trouble, no matter what. If it's Initiative, it will become interesting, depending on what their mana rollout looks like, and what my Remora delivers. We're also playing Vintage, where everyone can play 1 Strip Mine if they want. So if I go like Island Remora and they Strip Mine me, then Remora just dies in my upkeep. You normally want some Moxen to help keep this thing alive a little longer. The opponent's on 6. Remora resolved. Ancient Tomb. Okay, so they're going to try to push through the fish here. If they just have like a Plains, that'll be fine. That'll work. I will play a fetch land to help mitigate Wasteland against me here. Feeling good for bottoming that other land. Wasteland confirmed. All right, cumulative upkeep 1. I'm going to fetch now. Get a Tundra. I will pay the Troll Toll. All right, well, we've kind of... Well, it's hard to tell. Sometimes Remora's impact on a game is invisible. Like my opponent might have 3 Chrome Moxes in their hand that they've just been afraid to dump. But they have navigated this game to a spot where I didn't really develop at all, and now Remora's dead. All right, Remora is dead. This looks like Jewel Shops. This Academy suddenly showing up, or I guess it could be any shops. Yeah, Jewel Shops doesn't have Wasteland. Sphere Shops decks do play Academy. We will now find out how much that Remora was holding back. Patches O'Houlihan. I don't want to fight over that. Okay, yeah, so this is just aggro Sphere Shops. Mox Jet. This Academy. Gonna be insane. Mox Sapphire. Soul Ring. Mental Misstep has very few targets in a matchup like this. I will take the one I can get. The low G. No thanks. Force that. So Remora got me to the Force of Will. It's turn 4 and this just happened. I don't feel good about my position, but this was going to happen on turn 1 and 2 otherwise. I'm going to stock up and hope we can turn the corner. Opponent's got 2 cards left in hand. Mana Crypt Mox Pearl. or Thunder Trap Trainer Mana Crypt. Pearl Crypt give me the best shot at PO. Like I could buy Lurrus right now and then try to set up a PO next turn. I think that's the way to go. I am bleeding out to their 5/5. I got to take some chances here. If they didn't have a 5/5 in play, I probably would have got Thunder Trap Trainer and something else. But instead, I got to do it this way. It would be super cool if I didn't get locked out of the game this turn. All right, Mox Emerald, they just drew, or else they would have played it last turn. Mystic Forge, that card's pretty powerful. It can miss, but they have a lot of mana to play with. Mana Vault, that came off the top of the deck. I could just die to this patches this turn. Stonecoil Serpent for 0. Yeah, they're just trying to churn through the deck. Head to Exile, Mishra's Workshop. Mox Ruby off the top. Mana Crypt off the top. Please just hit a land. Let me have a turn. 8 mana in the pool. Golos. Alright. I'm going to be at 5 from this combat. The Golos land comes in tapped. Bajuka Bog. Okay. No, Rod, fudge! That was in hand. They had that one the whole time. Alright, I don't think this game's winnable anymore. I'm going to be at 4 life, and there's a Mana Crypt flip, and my stuff doesn't work. Alright, yeah. Okay, so if I had known this matchup, I wouldn't have relied on Mystic Remora, but that is what we're here to test. If that Mystic Remora had been like Dress Down or Chain of Vapor instead, I don't know that the game is much better. The problem was my hand was just bad. It didn't do any fast, busted, broken vintage stuff. Okay, so I'm bringing out the things that are bad against their deck. Soul Guide Lantern, Flusterstorm, Mental Misstep, things that don't matter. A bunch of removal and counters to try to push through the portable holes, get rid of null rods and stuff. Mindbreak Trap is defensible again, but I don't think I need it. And I think Mr. Remora on the play, I still believe in it, even though that game, it didn't really work out. Let's go. All right, well, another hand. I mean, 4 lands is nice, but knowing what we're up against, I want to be a little more broken than that, and I have found broken. Got to put something on the bottom here. Land is a risky thing to get rid of. My plan is to go Thunder Trap Trainer, Ancestral Recall, and still have 2 mana up to play the game. Yeah, definitely keeping, but I got to put something on the bottom. It might be Stock Up. I mean, Stock Up's so good. Flame is really good against their deck specifically, and I do have the Wizard. I don't want to roll the dice on lands because Mana Denial is part of their strat, and they play Null Rod. All right, I'm going to get rid of the Stock Up, which is a little shitty because if Thunder Trap Trainer or Ancestral Recall, that's 7 cards. If there's a Mox anywhere among them, I could have stocked up on turn 1 as well. But, when you mulligan, your hand gets worse. What do you want? Those are the rules. Opponent could have Mindbreak Trap, is something that I just want to acknowledge, which means I'm going to lead on Ancestral Recall. Blue, 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 Ancestral myself. This is 2 spells, and from here on out, Mindbreak Trap is live. I'm going to Thunder Trap here. There's no black cards in my deck. I can tap the Mox. Well, there's that Remora back. Interesting. Force of Negation would cost me my precious Flame of Venor to use. Yeah, I think I'm going to go back in on Mystic Remora. I have most of the other stuff that this hand would want to do lined up already. And unlike last game, I have gone positive mana, and I have something going on, so it's not just like pay into Mystic Remora to wait it out. Okay, we're in there. Let's see if they feed me this game. Remora doesn't trigger off creatures, so they could go like shop Patchwork Automaton. There's the shop. Scrawly Crawly. Okay, well, I can kill that. Upkeep, I will pay the 1. Draw for turn. Take some damages. I do only have 1 artifact still. So here, I'm going to pass. Crawler's pretty scary, but I am rolled up on answers to it. They fed me a Stock Up. Damage done. And Flame of Venor draws the card before it kills the creature or the artifact, so I don't have... I will take 2 when I Flame of Venor this thing. Okay, I think I'm going to give up on Remora to do my thing here. I'm going to get a Volk and a Tundra, and then flame this guy. Destroy target artifact, draw 2. Draw 2 cards, destroy target artifact. I'm doing it now before I take an extra damage in my draw step. And again, Remora didn't draw me a card, but I don't know how much it slowed them down. I can't pay for this now. I do have Remora coming out on the draw in this matchup. Consigned to memory. All right, I guess it's Mox Pearl. Stock up will cost me my Academy because Wasteland's there, but I think I just have to play the game that's in front of me. Okay, 2 more Moxen and a PO. I think I want PO and Ruby. I'll play Ruby, attack for 1 and pass. Sapphire would have been the nuts there to be able to consign to memory. But I can fend off on Null Rod in a variety of directions. I could counter it on the way down, or I could Portable Hold it once it's there. If they're living in the Matrix, they could trick me into letting Null Rod resolve because I have Portable Hold and take me off white instead of taking me off Tolarian Academy. But that seems so bad. If they have 2 Wastelands, then they get that for free. So I definitely would have to counter Null Rod on the way down. And if their hand is 2 Null Rods here, I force 1, they play the other, and then I can flame it. This is what the Remora was holding back. Well, Storm is 3. 4 cards left in hand. Null Rod's pretty harsh on them here too. Crucible of Worlds. That's pretty scary, but I am going to force this pitching consign. I think next turn, like this is the last turn consign matters. The problem with the Crucible is they just waste me twice right now. If they follow up with Null Rod, I can answer it. I actually can answer Null Rod through 1 Wasteland no matter what they do. If they hit Academy, I have Portable Hole. If they hit Tundra, I have Flame of Venor. The 3 cards left in hand have to be 2 lock pieces. Karn's pretty good. Yep, there we go. They've solved it. That's the one that wiggles through my hole here. That is frustrating. And blowing up my Moxen instead of doing anything else. Okay. Well, that sucks. Snapcaster Mage also sucks. I think I've lost this game because they have Karn. And unfortunately, like the Wasteland would have beat me too. They just had 2 things, and I only had 1 answer on the turn that I needed to have 2 answers. And if I untap there, I win, but now I'm probably dead. Golos, pretty strong. I didn't Portable Hold the Mana Crypt because if they had just gone for Lattice there, Snapcaster is an out. Like I can actually just attack and kill Karn. My Pearl's gone. Swords to Plowshares could still turn this game around. Just a land off the top of my deck could turn this game around. A good Flame of Venor here. Not possible. All right, what I want to do here is concede, but I don't think that I can. Not yet. I'll exile the Mana Crypt. They're not showing me the ability to use Urza Saga here. Yeah, this is Eternal Weekend testing. Normally, just recording this by myself, I would have conceded already, but I gotta try to squeeze out every little piece. And this is just the nature of Vintage. Sometimes you plan around a 4 to 7 of in the form of like Null Rods and Spheres and Void Mirrors and whatever, and then you get got by Karn the Great Creator. Okay, this is a pretty big creature, but this is not a place I can afford to put a Force of Negation. That's a thing that dies if I hit my land for Flame of Venor anyway. Golos doing beats. I blew up my last Mox. Paradoxical outcome now basically free to pitch to Force of Negation. It's never going to do anything. Come on, land. Time Walk. Well, it might yet be a land. Okay, bonus turn. Portable Hole. That can take out the Germ token. They can just equip Nettle Cyst to Golos, which is a lethal attack that I'd have to block. Well, we gotta do what we gotta do. I'll take this Germ token, and I cannot afford to attack. Okay, so even with the Karn sneaking through, Swords to Plowshares, 3rd mana, both of those could have stabilized this game pretty reasonably. Also, just the dig for, when I dug and hit the Mox Ruby, if that was Sapphire or Opal, I would have done okay this game, because then I would have had Blue Up to consign the Karn after forcing the other thing. Yeah, this was really tight. This Wasteland's going to kill me. Okay, Giant Golos, 8 power, have to block. Karn is making a wish. And it has so much loyalty, and Force of Negation awkwardly exiles whatever they wish for, so they can just wish for it again next turn. It's kind of worse than Force of Will in this spot. Yeah, they just grabbed the Mana Crypt out from under my portable hole. Sure, you can have Mana Crypt. This is a spot where Chain of Vapor is definitely a lot better than Mystic Remora. Okay, third land showing up after like 5 turns of missing when it would have been okay before that. All right, yeah, really tight match. Played around what I could play around, and they just sort of made it happen. On to the next one.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in a Lurrus Pseudo Mirror with a crushing no mana hand. Look at these cards. Mulligan this. All right, well, do we give Mystic Remora another shake? This Academy with nothing to pitch. Like, if this is Lurrus combo, I actually really like the Remora. If it's not, if they're Lurrus control, all right, I'm going to keep and bottom one of the POs. Let's try this out. I don't think I can afford to just fold this game to a wasteland, so I'm going to get my basic and go with Remora. This card felt really good in my previous league, but obviously I've played against 2 kind of non-spell decks in a row. But this has felt pretty bad here, and it is important to me in a tournament to beat the kind of like slammy Ancient Tomb decks, because those are popular among, like, White Initiative is popular among people who do know about Vintage, and then also if you're just showing up to the tournament and you have some experience with Legacy Stompy or whatever, it might be a deck you select. Volcanic Island. So this is probably Lurrus Breach. I guess it could be the mirror. I have Volcanic Islands in my deck too. Oh, all right. I will draw a card and Mr. Remora goes back into my hand. Why would they do this? Because they want to dump out all their stuff. I think I have to be okay with that. Yeah, I'll just take a 2-for-1, bank it. Okay, the more middle of the road builds of PO. Oh, yuck. Well, no thanks on that one. I'm going to force pitching PO on this. Yeah, the more middle of the road builds of Lurrus, play Bauble. I could get this Thunder Trap down right now. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. This Tolarian Academy being on is pretty important to the next phase of whatever happens here. Well, it's still not on. There's the other Remora. Time Walk versus Sink into Stupor is interesting. Merchant Scroll, if I have the 3rd mana scroll for Ancestral, is great. I think I might just take Sink into Stupor to make sure I can cast that stock up next turn. Pretty anemic stuff here. You can play more Mox Opals than I'm playing in my build to have more mana. Like, I have 1. I've seen 0 to 4 all represented. Mirror match confirmed. But Mox Opal, drawing a Mox Opal here wouldn't really help my hand. And I guess it would make Tolarian Academy tap for 1, which does help my hand. Yikes. All right, opponent has me cooked next turn. They have a PO with 4 targets. I gotta figure this out. Well, Mr. Remora kind of figures this out. Oh, nice, I get it all. Okay, Mox Ruby, cast stock up first. Stock up. My goodness. Where are my Moxen? Okay, Flusterstorm is not good enough here. Remora is really interesting because they get to PO, but I get to draw a card when they PO. Then if they continue playing the game after that, I get to go nuts off Remora. I think I want Stock Up and Flusterstorm here. I do not like what's going on. Tolarian Academy, Mystic Remora's back. Okay, Mystic Remora. This is one of the theoretical use cases for it. Like, if your opposing PO opponent starts going off, you get to go off too. Like, they draw 4, I draw 1. Then I draw 1, 2, 3 if they replay these cards. So we've both drawn 4 without me doing anything. That's the theory anyway. There's still a mana short of paying for Remora. And if they're afraid to push into this, that benefits me because obviously I would have just died if they had shoved that card. Okay, I can Thunder Trap Trainer here first. I really just want more artifact mana. Make this Academy better. Help this Remora get paid. Here we go. Mana Crypt, Mox Pearl. Do I need white or do I need more? I think I just need more. I'm going to take Mana Crypt, play Crypt. I have this Sink into Stupor that I've been holding on to. I can jam that in to stock up while still holding up Academy, which could still do a lot this turn. Soul Ring, Snapcaster, Force of Will. Snapcaster gets stock up. If I can snap my way into a PO next turn, that's really good. Do I want Soul Ring to make this more likely or Force of Will to help survive this turn? I think I'm in the spin it to win it phase of the game. I'm going to take Soul Ring. And I will pass the turn. I can't play this Soul Ring because I need Flusterstorm up. But I suspect my opponent might be settled into Saga Gaming here, because I have a thing that I have to pay for every turn and they don't. And they have an engine running and I don't. They have PO and one unknown in hand. They could play PO and pay the 4 for Mystic Remora, but then I can fluster the PO because they'll be tapped out. I think in my opponent's position, I would just see where Saga's going. I will pay for the fish. I'll flip a coin, won my flip, and I'm looking for a way to see more cards. Force of Negation, kind of whatever. Do I want red mana this turn? The red card in my deck right now is Flame of Anor. Like, I could use Mox Ruby, and then I just have a big pile of blue. Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy my big pile of blue. 1, 2, 3, Snapcaster Mage. And Remora works both ways. I'm going to put their Lurrus away. It's starting to get crowded around here. Remora works both ways. If they fight over this Sink into Stupor, I get to draw cards. Or this stock up. All cards with S sound the same. Okay, I can tap out of white to stock up with Academy still available, or I could tap Academy, stock up with blue floating, or blue floating. I would rather still have Academy around. Because if I hit, like, Mox PO off this, which is exactly what just happened. Okay, Mox PO, this is what I was looking for. I have threaded the needle, and it's now party time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Paradoxical outcome. Pew, 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 pew. I could pick up the Remora to draw an extra card, but I kind of want the Remora in play because I know they can PO here and draw 4 and start a fight. And I even have the Fluster still available. All right, everybody put your Lurruses away. Get them out of the way. That's not what the game's about right now. And if this 7-card PO that includes Snapcaster Mage doesn't get it done because I didn't go 1 card deeper, then I accept my fate. All right, something's happening. Flame of Anor, doing what? First of all, I'd like to draw a card. I drew Thundertrap Drainer, so they are trying to draw 2 cards and blow up my Soul Ring. I know their hand right now is PO. Storm is plenty. I am going to fight this fight. Using that blue denies me the Snapcaster. Like, I do have to hit a blue source off this PO now. I don't get to snap PO right away. And they can PO in response, draw 4, but I draw 1 when it happens. I would probably try to draw 4 here if I was the opponent. Yep, here we go. It's party time. Mystic Remora trigger. Draw a card. My own Flame of Anor. Okay, so I draw a card off PO. Now they have to find Force, which draws me another card if they cast it. So Remora has been good for Ancestral Recall this game. Another card. All right. They did find what they were looking for, but I still have Remora in play, and I went +3 cards. That was a really good turn and a great showcase for Mystic Remora. And I have the other Force in my hand for their turn. Vexing Bauble's already in the graveyard, which is the one I would be worried about. I don't think this game is going to be about construct tokens. Obviously, I don't know what's in their hand, but I would be surprised if that was worth the 3 mana to use it. Black Lotus has appeared. Portable Hull. Are they going to use Portable Hull to remove a card that's already drawn like 5 off of them? What else could this remove? They could take my Soul Ring, I guess, but that's not really what this is about. They're definitely going after Remora here. I'm going to let them have it. I still have a Force in the bank. And we know 3 of the cards in hand are Mana Vault, Mishra's Bauble, Moxjet. Well, there's 2 unknowns over there. All right, all the things we know about are back. Or Thundertrap Trainer. We know all but 1 card in the hand, actually. And now Lurrus is in the hand. My counterspell does not interact with Lurrus, so they can get their Black Lotus value here for freezies. Or redeploy Vexing Bauble, I guess. Oh, they're a black build, so they might have Breach. Or they might just be splashing for Demonic Tutor. Well, this is use it or lose it, so I'm going to force this. Exiling Gitaxian Probe. I don't care what's in their hand, and I can cast Lorien Revealed. Bobbling me. Lurrus has been used already this turn. Okay, I could Flame of Anor in the upkeep, killing Lurrus and Portable Hole before they draw a card. Yeah, I think I'm pretty into that, actually. Deal 5 to a thing, destroy target artifact. If they have Force Blue card, then it's done. Yeah, they didn't have it, and now I have Remora in play again. And I get to see a trillion cards this turn. Oh, I only need that one, though. Okay, Thundertrap Trainer. What's the sequence? I'm fairly confident I can get this guy in. Cast another Trainer. And there is another Mox. That just makes PO better. I have the Snapcaster in hand. I'm interested in getting out of here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cool. That was a sweet battle where Mystic Remora was actually a huge part of it. This matchup, so this is actually a little tricky because Soul Guide Lantern, I want 0 in if they don't have Breach, and I want 3 in if they do have Breach. I saw Underground Sea. Is that enough to convince me that they have Underworld Breach in their deck? I would try to slow down and get more controlling. So if I cut Opal and sink into Stupor, that lets me leave in the Soul Guide and bring the other one. I don't know what they are, but I did see enough to suspect, and I'm going to go partial here. I have my full sideboard that I would have if they were the Pure Mirror, and then I have 2/3 of the sideboard I'd have if they were Breach, and I'm going to rock with that. Okay, a little awkward here. Again, BoshNRoll draw a Mox challenge, level impossible. But Force of Will, Vexing Bauble are good cards. Gitaxian Probe's a look. Hopefully opponent doesn't also have Vexing Bauble here. Thundertrap Trainer, that's not where I spend my forces this early. And with this sideboard plan that I've done, the only white card in my deck is 4th Aerolingus and Lurrus. Red is more important than white in the post-board games in this matchup. Right, they've got a PO in hand. Ooh, all right, I'm about to figure out everything else they have in hand too. Probe you. Got to do all this before the bauble comes down. Okay, PO, Portable Hole, Mana Vault, Island. Their shields are down. They are pretty interactive though. I have 5 mana right now. I could go Land, Lotus, Pearl, Bauble, Pass. But they can't play this Portable Hole. That's interesting. They can PO though. They can PO for 3. That's really strong. So I actually need this Force of Will available. So I can't afford a Vexing Bauble. I think I might just play my own Thundertrap Trainer right now. And I have White Mox. Oh, that's covered. Get Volcanic Island, guilt-free. Thundertrap Trainer. Stock up Mana Crypt, Time Walk. All good cards. I could go Lotus stock up and just get paid right now. Mana Crypt makes my PO really good next turn. So I'd have to force pitching Snapcaster on their PO if they go for it. Okay, I think I do want Mana Crypt. And I can hard cast Force of Will, actually. Then I get to keep everything. Unfortunately, I'm a mana short of hard casting Force of Will and putting Vexing Bauble down. Flooded Strand off the top. That could motivate them to Portable Hole my Black Lotus instead of doing anything else. A Portable Hole. I mean, I'm losing it anyway. I could just PO for 3. I think that's fine. If they had played out their Mana Vault first, they could PO over top of my PO right now. They can still outcome here, and Portable Hole doesn't even have anything under it. But I found another force, so we are gonna win this showdown. And then I untap Snap PO, and we're out of here. Vault resolves. Their hand is just Island once this PO goes on the stack. Am I going to need another Force of Will this game, or do I want to hold on to Thundertrap Trainer? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana available right off the jump. That is enough to play Thundertrap Trainer, dig, and then Snap PO. Okay, yeah, I'm going to force pitching Force here. Force pitching Force, basic Island in opponent's hand. Naturally, a big aspect of this mirror is just who draws 5 first, and then it's kind of whatever. Speaking of kind of whatever, welcome to the party, Soul Ring. Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, Mox Pearl. Can even get the Vexing Bauble in the mix here. Just extra juice, extra mana with my Academy. I'm gonna Thunder Trap first. I found a PO. I will take that. And then Tolarian Academy. Pew, 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 pew. I think we're pretty much done here. All my stuff comes back with more stuff. Another PO. Oh, I should Thunder Trap Trainer first. If I find a blue source, the Opal or... Okay, there's Lingus. Now I can just win. All right. Now I'm not even worried about a blue source. And PO resolves, which we knew would happen. Now I just have to count high enough on my Lingus, and we're done. I guess I don't have a red source, do I? We keep digging. Okay, I can Merchant Scroll for another PO. I could snap PO. I'm almost out of blue here. Did I bottom Ruby earlier this turn? I think I did. Is it mana efficient to get Lurrus involved? Lurrus gets me Lotus, which is 3 more blue. Alright, I will get Lurrus involved. And then black, white, colorless, Lurrus, Black Lotus involved. Now there's plenty of blue to go on forever. We got the GG. Yes. I can also just Lingus with this Lotus. I don't have to keep showing off. Yeah, game one, really interesting, back and forth. Our counterplay, our development, pretty interesting. Game two was just sort of, I PO'd first, and I had a counterspell for theirs. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the draw against a non-Lurrus deck in round 4. I have Force of Will and the ability to advance my mana. That is about as much as I can ask for out of a hand in the blind. I also have an accelerated Saga game plan. Like I can go Saga, Soul Ring, pass, and then start cranking constructs on the following turn. I am keeping. Opponent, what is going on here? Oh, they powdered. Okay, the math did not math up. Okay, so they powdered a 6-card hand after I kept 7. This is traditional dredge with creeping chills, prized amalgams, those sort of things. So this is just going to be a straight up race in game 1. I think I have to ignore that. Man, they discarded a Bazaar. That's so fucked. They just had 3 Bazaars. Okay, game on. Saga. I do have a Soul Guide Lantern in my deck, but it's going to be too slow here. Force pitching Narcomoeba. Well, I'm going to force back. Pitching Flusterstorm. They are not going to have any spells for the rest of the game. I'm going to get it where I can on a counterspell, as the last card in their hand is almost certainly Bazaar Baghdad. Yeah, they slow dredged in the upkeep. Activate Bazaar, dredge, missed on a dredger, discarded 3, there's the other Bazaar. They could very well have their entire deck face up by the time I tick up this Urza Saga. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is just draw the Soul Guide Lantern, just blind rip that buddy. Mental misstep. Okay, what has the best chance of converting here? Thunder Trap Trainer looks at 4, takes 1, but leaves a mana up. Stock up, leaves 1 less mana, but I see more and can do more. I guess I'm stocking up. Thunder Trap Trainer can block. How much damage is over here? We've got 1 Icarid in the graveyard. That's way less than I thought. And 2 Creeping Chills are accounted for already. So that's 6, 9 damage from the 1 Icarid and every remaining Creeping Chill. It's 13, 14 with Narcomoeba, or so 9, 10. I can be at 2 if I can block Hollow One, and I might die if I don't. Okay, the blocker actually matters a lot here. I am going to Thunder Trap Trainer. Oh no, not Mana Crypt. That's the mana that could result in my death. Or no, I can block. Okay, I can block Icarid with the Construct now. All right, I'll take Mana Crypt, play Crypt, and pass. Okay, I might be like at 2 with 1 turn left to play the game. All right, Bazaring in the upkeep in response to the Icarid. Hitting more Icarids doesn't change the clock here. Like, they trigger once and it's at the start of the upkeep. All right, that's both Creeping Chills. We did the math. Some number of prized amalgams are going to jump back in this time around. I hope I did the math correctly. That's the hard part. Okay, they full dredged down to 7 cards left in their deck. Amalgams are going to trigger. Yeah, I have to go off next turn. This is not going to be a situation where anything short of whipping my deck back at my opponent is going to be good enough. 3/3 blocker. None of these trample, so we can just put them in front of whoever. I go to 5, which means I survive even if they flipped Crypt. After dredging 85 cards, their draw for turn was Hollow One. Pretty good. Okay, and here comes the entire graveyard. Gotta make it happen here. Crypt flip. I stay at 5. Thundertrap Trainer. Float with Saga. I have to get a blue source that makes Paradoxical Outcome a thing. This is a mess. I don't think if this trainer had been just like Island, that's a play. So Sapphire versus Lotus, I guess, is the question. Lotus is more mana, but Sapphire is better with Outcome. Do I even have enough to Outcome? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can PO for 3. Like scroll for PO for 3 with 1 mana floating. And Opal is just better Sapphire here, right? Like I have Metalcraft and there's no way I can lose it. But is Opal a better hit down the chain? Or would I rather just have it now? Okay, I'm taking Mox Sapphire. And now I have an additional math problem to do. I could play Thundertrap Trainer first, and I have 6 mana left. If Thundertrap Trainer hits Mox Opal or Black Lotus, I can still scroll. If it hits PO directly, I've significantly improved my position. Is Stock Up better than Thundertrap Trainer in that regard? An extra look, 2 hits, but PO is 1 weaker. Stock Up can get lands. All right, I'm actually going to stock up here. This is risky, but I have to take risks. I found the Opal and a land. Those are both good cards. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana left. That's exactly right. All right, we are all in on a wing and a prayer with a searched up PO here. And my land drop has been used. Merchant Scroll. Find Paradoxical Outcome. Moment of Truth, gamers. PO for 4. I see a Gataxian Probe that I can technically use. And that was pretty bad. All right, probe you. I'm at 2. I gotta win this turn anyway, doesn't matter. Crypt. Plays Ring. Sapphire. Opal. And I'm actually 1 short. Even if I hit the PO off of this, it doesn't matter. All right, cool, dead. I beat 1 Bazaar there, and I think I win if I'm on the play. So a tight game 1 versus Dredge, which is all you can really ask for. I like having Pyroblast versus Dredge because they are a Force of Will deck. And usually if they counter 1 thing successfully, you lose. And I'm cutting my Plows because I don't want to engage them in combat. There are matchups like Esper Lurrus, for example, where your plan is actually to grind Dredge into no resources, where plowing their Icarids and prized amalgams is part of the plan. That is not what's going on here. Consign to Memory can counter Hollow One straight up and Creeping Chill triggers, but that's not what I'm trying to do either. All right, let's go. On the play this time. Ancestral Recall, but it's in one of the matchups where it might matter less than average. I'm still going to keep it. Ancestral with Force Backup is just such a tasty combo. And they could always just mulligan to 1. And then you're happy with anything. All right, they mulled to 2. I'll take it. Right now, if I Ancestral, it'll put me to 8 cards in hand. I do have a high hit rate. All right, I am not going to play out Mana Vault, and I'm not going to Ancestral. The cool thing about this is I still expect them to have Bazaar, but they're unlikely to have, like, Grief plus Bazaar. Okay, I'll Ancestral in response to this. Tundra, Ancestral myself. If there are 2 cards where Bazaar plus Chalice, that is pretty awesome for them. All right, Force Pitching Lorien revealed. I currently can function just fine through Chalice, but that might not last very long. They didn't Bazaar. That could mean they have Mindbreak Trap or Mental Misstep. Those are cards that matter here. All right, Mana Vault first. Okay, I'm just going to send it. I don't think they have anything. Volcanic Island. PO for 2. We're back. And I will replay Mana Vault with my floating mana and pass. I could have had Vault and Soul Ring. I don't know what I'm doing here. Wow. The Multitude double Bazaar. Suddenly, the game is afoot. Okay, they discarded 3 cards, none of which are Dredgers. So the 2 they kept was probably Bazaar Chalice. All right, I would like to stock up here. Soul Guide Lantern, Mox Pearl. You love to see it. Do I want to mess with Soul Guide Lantern, or do I just want to kill my opponent? I could take Mox Pearl Tolarian Academy. Soul Guide Lantern is also an artifact for Tolarian Academy. All right, I'm going to go Lantern plus Academy. I'll play Soul Guide Lantern. This lets me play a lot slower and more carefully. Or they could concede outright. Cool. I have Flame of Anors and Forces in my deck for a 1 of Chalice if they happen to have it. I'm not going to give that a ton of respect by bringing in a bunch of portable holes or whatever. Yeah, this is the plan. Let's get it. Well, playing that Soul Guide Lantern did elicit the scoop. So I win the game, which is the best thing that can happen. Or it's the second best thing that can happen. The best thing that can happen is you win the match. Wow, this hand is good against everything except Chalice of the Void. I'm keeping. I guess Grief is a little annoying, but that's what Lurrus is for. Opponent has mulligan to 1. We get that vintage Bazaar experience here. All right, they found the Bazaar Baghdad. That's so lucky. Archimedes Grief in the graveyard, and I have carte blanche to go nuts here because they don't have anything and can't do anything. Beep, boop, bop. Here's all my guys. All my things. Soul Ring. Tundra. Stock up. No Soul God Lantern. Sad. All right, they've seen enough. All right, they just don't want to play anymore. I am very likely to take over, and sure. When you have a total of 3 cards in your opening hands over 2 games, it's a bad beat. But also, I mean, that's a Bazaar experience. I choose the decks I choose because I like keeping 6 and 7 card hands as often as I can. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the play in the final round against another non-Lurrus deck. This is a turn 1 Ancestral Recall that I can protect with Flusterstorm. Sure, I'll roll the dice on that. Positive Records locked. We're playing for the bread and butter 4-1 here. Okay, Scalding Tarn, Black Lotus, Scroll for Ancestral. These hands can betray you because you're spending 3 cards to get 3 cards. It's not even like you really did anything here. I basically put Black Lotus in my graveyard for later, is kind of what I did there. Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith. Alright, I'm in danger. I can kill this thing, though. They passed priority, which means I'm taking my shot right now before this generates a single piece of value. Get the Fleshraker out of here. Mental Misstep, unlikely to be good here. Alright, yeah. I mean, that's what I was talking about with Lotus for Scroll for Ancestral. Can betray you. Ooh, we got some Eldrazi in the mix. Another one. Alright, well, there's that guy. I can at least counter the first Sensei's top. Alright. Thank goodness I have the ability to do anything now. Stock up. Leaving my land drop available because Academy is still around. Another Plow and a Force. I need something to do here, though. Like, do I want to force their next play and Plow? I guess I'm really close to Lurrus. Alright, I'm just going to go full control here. Experiment with that. As much as I would have liked that Thunder Trap Trainer. When a deck is named after a card, you generally want to keep that card out of play. And I'm playing against Raker Shops right now. Or some, like, Eldrazi variant thereof. Vexing Bauble. Nah. Nah. They probably have, like, just a few targets for Mental Misstep in their deck. Tez. Nah. Alright. Paradoxical Outcome, no additional action. In my hand, my own Vexing Bauble. Okay, Bauble. I could PO for 2 here. I can get Lurrus but not play it. I could PO for 2 and not quite buy Lurrus again. All right, I'm going to PO for 2. All right, little Mystic Remora for my trouble there. We'll see what happens here. I might just die. Maybe I've gotten over the hump. We'll find out together. Sensei's top. I would like to draw a card. I feel smart for removing the 2 Flesh Rakers. Makes it harder to die on the spot right now. Those 2 main deck plows finding the 2 highest value targets in the matchup. Mr. Remora, good for a card so far. This is definitely a Tinker deck, though. It's also definitely a Time Vault deck. Oh, there's Time Vault. Also glad I countered that Tez last turn. Another Remora. They do stack, by the way. CEDH players don't even know about that. Okay, there is Saga. They flip top into Saga, which means they're drawing top next turn. I will keep this Remora around. Holy moly. There is nothing good in my graveyard. I could sack the Bauble for a redraw. So this is... I could exactly cast Lurrus right now, which doesn't even seem very good. Yeah, I couldn't even replay the Bauble. I can't even sack the Bauble, much less replay it. Okay, another Mystic Remora going in. I am dead turn after next because of the key that can come out of Urza Saga. If the 1 unknown card in their hand right now is a key, I could also lose to that. Right, end step fetch. Get the last of these fetchable lands out of the way. I think I have to just draw a card with Bauble. Try to make anything happen here. The one really cool thing is if they go into the Time Vault with 2 Remoras active, that does constrict what they're able to do. Like, normally if Vault Key goes online, then obviously the opponent has nothing, and that's not going to change, but Remora's gone. I am not actually paying for these this turn. Thunder Trap Trainer and Stock Up. All right, I'm starting with Stock Up. That just does more. We know one of the cards in their hand is Sensei's top. Flame of Enor gets me out of this. Time Walk Flame of Enor, I think is where I want to be. Time Walk Flame. That lets me Thunder Trap Trainer now, invest in that, and then untap Flame of Enor. Right, Time Walk, get that in the bank. Trainer. Now I have 2 hits for PO. Force of Will. I'll take that, I guess. And go to my turn. Big Rips, another Trainer. I'll draw 2 and destroy Time Vault. I'm going to start there. Just make sure that box is checked before anything else happens. They can hardcast Force here, but I would be surprised if there's actually counterspells in this deck. A Thunder Trap Trainer, likely to deliver the ability to stock up. 4th Aerolink is PO. Alright, well I did not find the ability to stock up. I think I would like this Paradoxical Outcome in my hand, and I can still stock up because I have a land drop to make. The last Tundra. This is the most embarrassing Tellurian Academy of all time. Stock up finds Mox Sapphire, stock up, Paradoxical Outcome, Thundertrap Trainer. This is pretty good. I could take the Mox, or I could take 2 bangers to try to convert and win next turn. This Saga is about to do stuff, which I have to respect, or at least acknowledge the possibility of bad news. Their Vexing Bauble's already in the graveyard. If they get a second top, I know they have 2, and a Glaring Flesh Raker is a lethal shove. I think I'm going to go stock up Thunder Trap. The PO's just not that good here, and I already have one. I can't attack because they could block with a 2/2, and I'll pass. This game has a very weird pace to it, but it's a pace that I selected this deck because of the access to it. I don't want to feel like if I'm not going nuts, I'm losing. I'm not going nuts here, but I do also feel like I'm winning. I don't remember if they know about this Force of Will or not. It was put in my hand by something. I don't remember if it was Thunder Trap or Stock Up. Like, did they see it or not? Tezzerino, with 1 card left in hand that we know is Sensei's top. All right, PO might actually be good enough here. Yeah, because I have Thunder Trap. I have to pitch something, and they're all good, so I'm going to force pitching Stock Up And then I have Thundertrap into PO, which the PO will be for at least 4. There's top with their last mana. They could have used Key to untap Monolith to play top and spin top there, and decided not to. Force a negation, always welcome. I guess I should fetch first, because there's only 1 land left in my deck. Alright, every land that I play is now accounted for. Oh, Urza Saga was in there. But Urza Saga is not what this game is going to be about. Thundertrap Trainer, please find me a Mox to make this PO a little bit subsidized. Oh my god, should have been more specific. I will take Mox Opal though, even though it's not on. 1, 2... Do I tap the Academy? 3, 4. I am not going to tap the Academy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick up 5 here, and please, deck, don't betray me. Soul Guide Lantern technically turns on Mox Opal, but it's not what I wanted. Soul Guide Lantern. I actually don't want to exile their Time Vault, because then Karn can get it. Mox Opal. Now I am going to use Thundertrap Trainer here. I am very close to dead, because they can make one of their constructs unblockable. Thundertrap Trainer. Okay, I found a PO. Is it good enough? Or would I rather have some of these Mox in and try to just survive a turn? If I can pass with 2 blockers and access to Flame of Anor, I feel pretty good. I could actually just kill both their constructs right now. Deal 5, destroy target artifact, and it'll be left with a 5/5. So for that, taking Ruby, or should I take Force of Will? I should take Force of Will. Okay. It's Force of Will. Full control mode continues to thrive. Flame of Anor. Destroy target artifact. Deal 5 to target creature. Those are both gone. I am passing with double force available at 6 life. Fourth Aerolingus is in my deck somewhere. They're living off the top, but they do have a Sensei's top. Sensei's top from Hellbent. Still pretty powerful. I actually really like this game that we're playing. Just showcasing this absurd range of the deck where I've barely done anything I want to do, but every land in my deck's in play and I'm not that worried about them. Hard to believe this is the same game where I had that turn 1 Lotus Merchant Scroll Ancestral. And now there are 23 cards in my graveyard, 16 cards left in my deck, but one of them's Fourth Aerolingus. And like 10 of them are the other Moxen I haven't seen yet. Okay, they're taking damage from Mana Vault here. I can counter 1.5 things. They have the card they just drew, plus a card they could flip off of Sensei's top. Okay, so they're doing the double draw trick. You draw a card with top, in response you untap top and draw another card. That means they're going to draw a random card from the top of their deck, and then they draw Sensei's top again. Top's back. Spinning the top. And they've tapped out. Nice. Sweet game. Okay, Mindbreak Trap. Consign to Memory. Force of Negation, all cards I'm pretty interested in. Swords to Plowshares is, I think, mid. Like, we definitely would have lost that game that we just played if I didn't have Plow for both of those Rakers. But I have 2 Plows and 2 Flames. I'm not going to cut the Plows that are in. I'm not going to add the Plows that are out. Soul Guide Lantern, Island. This is not a Shops deck that has Wasteland in it. This is just a combo deck. And Flusterstorm doesn't find a lot of action here. Misstep hits the tops here, which makes it meaningfully different than other Shops kind of decks. Top is a big part of their plan. And I'll run it like this. Wall of blue cards with good mana. In we go. Alright, no turn 1 action, but incredible action if I get a turn. Or no turn 0 action, but great turn 1 action. I'm going to keep and cross my fingers. I might die here, or just be really far behind. We'll see. But when my hand, just in Magic in general, when my hand is pretty solid if I get even a single turn, outside of the most extreme experiences like Oops All Spells, I will generally presume that my opponent will not have the nut turn 1 GG hand. And if they do, like, you lose what? Like 4, 5, 10% of games, depending on how their deck's constructed. And in sideboard games, I know their deck. They have to think about that. I know their deck. Even if they have a 6-card hand that just shoves, are they going to shove into a Kep 7? Or are they going to take time to sculpt? Soul Ring, Time Vault. Okay, that is a pretty aggressive start. This is a turn 3 Goldfish. Black Lotus, huh? I've heard of that one. I'm familiar with it. Mindbreak Trap is the card I have to think about here a little bit. Lotus. Pearl. They appear to be F6, which is great for me. Lurrus into my hand. And I am just full committing here. Lurrus. Lotus is back. Solarian Academy. I can consign, snap, consign. I could also just cast Lurrus Revealed right now, but I'm going to wait a turn and deal with that later. Okay, the second action has been taken on Urza Saga. They could just cast a key or a Tezzeret from hand and threaten me there with the backup of tutor key next turn. Having access to multiple consignment memories here is doing a lot. Oh, your own Academy. Game on. I actually cannot beat a Tinker here. Blaring Fleshraker. Consign with Replicate that. I'll just put one extra on it, leaving a blue floating. Because if they pass turns in, or if they pass phases here, they lose a blue. It's not free to switch over. Bauble's fine. One card left in hand. They don't have the mana to cast Tinker, which is a card I'm worried about. Okay, and they didn't cast a key. I will go to my turn. They've seen the top of my deck. Okay, they know that about that Force of Will. All right, I'm going to go blue, 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 1-2, Lurrus Revealed. Start there. Black Lotus from the graveyard. Do I want more blue? No, I want Urza Saga going. A Saga, trigger. I can counter the... I can snap consign the search on Urza Saga, but I would rather take a dig here. If I can find a Flame of Anor, I'm worried about almost nothing. Sink into Stupor. That also slows them down in a way that's useful to me. All right, I'm going to take Sink into Stupor. This is kind of tricky. Okay. What happens here? I could take Stock Up. All right, no, I want Stock Up, not Sink. I'll just cast Stock Up right now with Snap Consign available. Okay. Yeah. Stock Up's way better. Stock Up. I don't think I care about Bauble. PO can take over next turn. PO and Scroll. That's multiple POs. Scroll can also get Flame of Anor. Okay. I have shields up, but they do have Time Vault resolved online. Back with Lurrus. And we will go into their turn. And this is the thing I have to interact with. Blue, 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 Snapcaster. Target consign. Consign. The search trigger. And they get a 3/3 construct. The land goes away. I have Force and Misstep to stop a key coming out of the hand. And then we untap into PO City. I like my position. A crit flip when I'm at a comfortable 23 life. Won the flip. Saga ticks up, and now it's game time. Black Lotus from the graveyard. That'll juice my Academy, and I plan on casting multiple Lurruses this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I do want to play my land. The Academy could be good for so much more. I'm actually going to play and fetch to get a land out of the pool of cards I could hit. PO targeting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. And they're done. Cool. That was a really satisfying match. Okay, a 4-1 losing to Sphere Shops, someone who was able to wait out Mystic Remora and then thread the needle on exactly Karn the Great Creator to shut me out. I don't expect Sphere Shops to be that popular at Eternal Weekend, and I don't think the matchup's that bad. And we also had the Dredge player mauled a 2 and then 1 in the sideboard games, which is part of the Dredge experience, but it's an extreme range on the Dredge experience to go that low twice in a match. So that matchup's definitely competitive. Mystic Remora, though, this is why we're here. This card felt very bad in some of my matchups and then very good in some of my other ones. It's bonkers in the mirror, which is something that I do expect to be well represented because both myself and I am actually level 1 are both playing Lurrus PO. We both have active Patreons. We both are people listen to before an event like Eternal Weekend. And Mystic Remora, anything to crack that mirror is important to me. Given the nature of paper play, I could definitely understand a Chain of Vapor over one of the POs to help mitigate versus the Ancient Tomb decks or generic big dum-dums like Karn that could sneak through and mess up your plan. I think I'm going to stay the course, though. 2 days out from the event, I wasn't that disgusted by Mystic Remora that out of the deck, and a sample size of 5 matches. You play against random opponents. It's good some places, it's bad other places. And when it was good, it was good. I'm gonna stick to my guns here and register 2 Mystic Remoras for US Eternal Weekend. And yeah, this is the deck. Heinz, thank you for the opportunity to practice before the tournament. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon where the full sideboard guide for this deck is live. There are 2 more Eternal Weekends coming up in Europe and Japan. I don't expect Vintage to be affected by the upcoming ban and restricted announcement. The format is awesome. This is going to be useful content forever, or at least until something better than Stock Up gets printed to change the meta again. There it is. I'm out of here. See you next time.